Hello everybody. Well, in my previous video I did mention I had a few new Doctor Who DVDs, and here they are. Now, this is more of a showcase video, not an update, because any Doctor Who fan reading those titles will instantly recognise what these are. These are the loose cannon reconstructions burnt onto DVD-Rs. These are the missing episodes which you can't get officially available on DVD. Some of the missing ones have been released subsequently with animation, like Polo, the Daleks, the Massacre Terror, Fear from the Deep, the Faceless ones. Those are not in this collection because they are commercially available. These are the ones that aren't commercially available. So in this video I'll show you what they are and how I got the contents on them. So in here there are 10 William Hartnells and 5 Patrick Troughtons and 2 other ones. So yeah, let's get started. So the first one is Marco Polo, which is of course missing in its entirety. And this one probably has, I don't know if that's the strongest likelihood of being recovered or the lowest likelihood, because the story's creeping up to its 60th anniversary and they still don't have it, despite the fact that it was sold the most. Anyway, here is the disc, and what these are is DVD-Rs. Simple as. Now I bought single layer and dual layer DVD-Rs because some of these require dual layer and some of these require single layer. For whatever reason, on the 7-parters, which are this one and Evil The Daleks, despite the fact that I encoded them in dual layer mode, the file size was small enough to fit on a single layer disc, despite the fact that the 6-parters required dual layer. And I might as well show you this now, because I made a few, because since I bought new dual layer DVD-Rs, I used them to make new DVD masters. So the first one is the updated version of the completely second series of Chalk, which is of course not officially available. The first series is, but the second series isn't. So my original version came on 2 discs. This one I've managed to squeeze all onto 1 disc, and this one I've updated the special features, the continuity announcements, otherwise it's exactly the same. Here's the disc. And with these ones, the labels on them were actually these. I actually bought printable DVD-Rs because you can buy DVD printers, but they are quite expensive and they are extremely hard to find. So instead I just opted to buy DVD labels. So I bought little ones with little wings on the side where you can pull them off and place them on. And I bought ones which have a small center hole punched out, because I don't like the ones where there's a massive center hole punch, because the massive center hole punch on something like this cover, it's not protected for it, and I don't like the look of them, and they're a lot harder to get on. So these ones were a lot easier to get on. I didn't get it aligned perfectly, but it's close enough. So anyway, let's continue, and I'll show you another one very quickly. This one, Clerks the Animated Series. I used 2 DVD dual layers to make new viewing discs. So there's disc 1, here's disc 2, and as you can see they were printable ones with just the label written on in Sharpie. And because the actual discs that this comes with, of course, are Region 1 and won't play in a standard Region 2 DVD player. Anyway, let's continue on with the Doctor Who ones. So there's Marco Polo. There's 2 there's two reconstructions of this done by the folks at Loose Cannon. This one is the most recent version, because the first version was made before the telesnaps were discovered and was primarily made up of on-set photos, which there are quite a lot of on-set photos from this story, and a lot of them are in colour, and the first reconstruction of this was actually done in colour. The second reconstruction with the telesnaps was done in black and white. This is the black and white version. And also, interestingly enough, on this cover I printed off, the photos on the back are in colour. Next one is The Crusade. This one really should have gotten its own DVD release because it fit the criteria, which was because only 2 episodes of this are missing, 2 out of the 4, so there wasn't really any reason not to put this one out. Although I think it may have been down to it being historical, and the historical ones typically wouldn't sell as well as the sci-fi ones. So yeah, there's 2 episodes 1 and 3 are still intact in the archives, and where they came from was this little baby, Lost in Time. I would highly recommend the Lost in Time collection, even if you're just a fan of archive television. This is the orphaned episodes, which is where I ripped these from. It is probably the most legal way, to do this if you've bought Lost in Time officially. So yeah, pretty much all the surviving episodes from those DVDs come from this. On this one, the soundtrack is included on the Lost in Time collection, but it is literally for the missing episodes. But it's literally just the soundtrack, because when you buy the soundtracks on CD, they will normally include linking narration from a member of the cast explaining what the hell's going on. With this one, they couldn't be asked including it, so I was completely lost on Lost in Time, and I didn't really like the story that much. And also, interestingly enough, there is a condensed 30-minute reconstruction of Marco Polo on this DVD right here, The Edge of Destruction. This one is quite heavily condensed, the reconstruction. This one is a 7-parter, but they condensed it into about half an hour, and I was lost, because it's not designed to be that short. It was just a kind of a bit of a mess. I mean, it's a crap story anyway. So yeah, we'll continue. Next one is Galaxy 4, which only episode 3 exists. Now, episode 3 came from an alternate source, because episode 3 was recovered after Lost in Time came out. It came from this, the special edition of the Aztecs, which this also includes the condensed reconstruction of the missing episodes 1, 2 and 4. This version I chopped out the episode 3 from the Aztecs and included the full reconstructions for episodes 1, 2 and 4. Also, something else to point out, these all come in clear cases. Now, the official DVDs come in silver cases, although with the more recent ones they've started cheaping out and sticking them in clear cases, which these stick out a little bit, but it's quite hard to find silver DVD cases for some reason. So I went with clear, and I just printed off the covers, because you can get like people selling just the covers on eBay, but it's like a $5 a pop, and it's daylight robbery, because who the hell would pay $5 for just an empty DVD case? And a lot of them, they decided to stick them in black cases, which the black cases stick out more than the clear ones, especially considering the colour of these. So, yeah. Mission to the Unknown. This is a very sort of influential story because this is literally the only one-part story in Doctor Who's history, and this also doesn't include the Doctor. This was the prequel episode to Daleks Master Plan. The version on here is just the average loose cannon one. It's not got the Ian Levine animation or that play version that university put on. And also, I for some reason decided to give this one a menu, and it's probably the most pointless menu in the world because it's just literally play episode. Here's the disc. As you can see, it didn't require that much space on it. Mythmakers, another one that's missing in its entirety. And then we get to the behemoth of a Daleks serial, which I'm looking forward to but also kind of dreading at the same time. The Daleks Master Plan. Whopping 12-parter, in which only episodes 2, 5 and 10 exist. This was originally intended to be a 6-parter, but the BBC wanted more Dalek action, so they made it into a 12-parter. And I believe it is basically padded to all hell and back, for obvious reasons. This one probably has the slimmest likelihood of turning up because literally no other country bought it except Australia, but they refused to broadcast it due to its content. And this one also has the completely out of nowhere Christmas episode, which was episode 7. That one, unless somebody had a very early video recorder, is basically lost forever because it was one that was never tele-recorded after transmission. So pretty much once the original videotape was wiped, that was it. It was gone forever. Here's disc 1 and here's disc 2. It's the only one which has had to go over to 2 discs. And the 2 surviving episodes, or the 3 rather, aren't that good. I think they are considered the ones which you could chop them out and they wouldn't really affect the story that much. Next one is The Massacre, or The Massacre of St. Bartholomew's Eve. I've used the full title of this. I got these covers from a chap called Christopher Loftus, who lets you download these covers for free online. He occasionally updates the covers, and I like this cover, but I prefer the older cover, which was one which had the crucifix down the middle. This one, unfortunately, I can't find any of the original disc covers, so I just had to put with a new version. Here's the disc. The Celestial Toymaker, only episode 4 this exists. And there was actually quite a lot of interesting points about this story. For example, it has Michael Gough playing the villain, and Michael Gough would probably be best known later on for playing Alfred in the 80s and 90s Batman films. And also, interestingly enough, this is the only Doctor Who episode where an N-bomb is dropped. Because one of the characters does an early version of Eeny, Meeny, Miny, Mo, and it was the original version with the N-word in it. And interestingly enough, Celestial is an old slur for the Chinese, so this is the only Doctor Who episode to have a slur in the title. On the soundtrack release of this, Peter Purvis talks over the N-word bit. But I'm just wondering if this ever gets recovered or the BBC decides to animate it, I wonder how they would respond to the N-word bit. Would they go all SJW and cut it out, or would they keep it intact because that's the way it was originally presented? But considering the fact that Fawlty Towers is uncut on DVD, I very much doubt they'd cut this. I've seen episode 4 of this. Episode 4 honestly was actually quite good. I'm actually really intrigued by this one to watch the rest. Here's the disc. The Savages, the departure of Stephen, and there was a hoax a few years ago about some idiot selling episode 4 to this on eBay. It was a hoax, by the way. I did many years ago do a video about it, but I was quite frankly embarrassed by it, so it's in private mode, and it's a video which I'm so ashamed by. I won't let anybody else watch it, so sorry. But yeah, obviously all 4 parts are missing. Here's the disc. Now the final Hartnell one is The Smugglers, one which doesn't hold that good of a reputation with fans. This is also the penultimate Hartnell story. Here's the disc. And now we've done with Hartnell, let's move on to Troughton, which there isn't that many Troughtons here, because a lot of even though there's more missing Troughton episodes, I don't think there's that many completely missing Troughton episodes. There's more completely missing Hartnell episodes, and a lot of the Troughton ones have received animation. So as a result, there's only 5 here which haven't. I think some of these ones, there's a very strong likelihood they would animate them, and some of them, there's a very slim chance they would. So let's get started. First one is The Highlanders. Of course, the introduction of Jamie, and funnily enough, the last pure historical from Doctor Who up until Black Orchid from the Peter Davison era. Which, I mean, it'll be interesting to see this one get recovered. Here's the disc. The Evil The Daleks, which is highly regarded and was the last Dalek story of the 60s. Because I believe Terry Nation was planning on selling the Daleks abroad. So as a result, a lot of the latter Dalek episodes, which are Daleks Master Plan, Power of the Daleks and Evil The Daleks, weren't really sold that much, so the likelihood of them getting recovered is very slim. This one, only episode 2 exists, which funnily enough is the only time when in motion where you see the second Doctor interacting with a Dalek. Of course, Terry Nation didn't exactly succeed in selling them, so at the end of this, the Daleks basically are killed off, but there's the suggestion that one Dalek still exists, that one Dalek still survives. And the Daleks returned about 5 years later in Day of the Daleks, which was in the Jon Pertwee era. Here's the disc. Next one is The Abominable Snowmen, which this one probably has a very strong likelihood of getting animated. Of course, the introduction of the Yeti and the Great Intelligence. Here's the disc. The Wheel in Space, which this one is the only Cyberman one in this set, which something I realised is the fact that there's only one complete Cyberman story of the 60s, that being Tomb of the Cybermen. The rest of them have missing episodes. This one is the most missing. There is a condensed reconstruction of this on BritBox, so there is a very strong likelihood this one would be animated. This Cyberman story is considered the weakest of the 60s Cyberman stories. It did show a lot of potential from the two surviving episodes, and episode 6 is probably my favourite part, when the Doctor electrocutes a Cyberman, which kind of proves that one of the great things about the second Doctor is he acts like an idiot in order to put these enemies into a false sense of security, and then bam, there's the disc. And then the final Stratton story is one pretty much most people hate, and that is the Space Pirates. Only episode 2 of this exists, and interestingly enough, the only reason why episode 2 exists is because with some of the 60s ones, but especially with this one, it was shot straight to film as opposed to straight to tape. So, I mean, the image quality on the episode 2 does look really nice. And for some reason, the BBC considered it to be of historical significance, so they kept episode 2 and the rest were junked. This is the penultimate Patrick Troughton story. All the episodes after episode 6 of this exist in the archives. To the back. And also I like that little detail right here. Contains threat, fantasy violence, and some very long, boring scenes. Not Robert Holmes' best script. I love that. Christopher Loftus when he puts those little touches on. And now the last two are ones which I've had in my collection for some time. They were the first custom ones, but these are updated versions because I changed the masters and reprinted the covers and stuck them in better cases. The first one is Dimensions in Time. I don't know why I made this. I'm an idiot. So, yeah, this is absolutely crap. Don't bother with this one. Well, it's short, you can swallow it. It's not extremely boring. It's just a bit confusing. This was the Children in Need special, which was done for the 30th anniversary. And this one will never get released on home video because it was made for charity, and the BBC don't feel comfortable sticking it onto disc, and selling it. I mean, there are uploads of this on YouTube, which is where this is from. Here's the disc, and oddly enough, this is the only one which actually has an inlay. And then the final one is the comic relief special, which was infinitely better. The Curse of Fatal Death. This is fantastic. It's on YouTube, so you can watch it there. This one never got released on DVD, I think due to it being on YouTube. And this did come out on VHS at one point. And this one actually has bonus features on it. This one and Dimensions in Time, I've put extras on them. The other ones are bare bones and are just the episodes. Here's the disc, and this is the only cover that was customised because Christopher Loftus didn't design the cover for this one. So this actually came from DeviantArt, but it was altered. I altered it slightly to make it match in better. Because my original cover was one I custom made and the fonts weren't right, and I made the mistake of calling it Curse of Fatal Death, not The Curse of Fatal Death. This one as the proper title. So, all these discs were made using the software DVD styler, which is a really nice bit of freeware, for authoring DVDs. I originally used, for my original versions of Dimensions in Time and Curse of Fatal Death, I used the software DVD Flick, which DVD Flick, it's fine, but it's simpler to use, but the problem with it is it's a little too simple. It's a little too basic. You can't do clever navigation, and you can't even customize your own menus. With these ones, you can. With these ones, I tried to copy the original DVD menus to a degree, but they're not. But obviously, they're not moving or anything like that. They're just actually still photo menus, which is all right. So I might as well show you what they look like now. Okay, welcome back. So this is what one of the discs looks like. This is Wheel in Space. For whatever reason, the disc wasn't going in. I was having a few technical difficulties with this. For some reason, the disc wasn't going in. But yeah, this one. I'm kind of completist because I included the BBC logo for some reason. I'm a bit of a completist like that. You can skip it, by the way. So this includes the actual introduction. This one I couldn't get the animation right of it going into the menus. Is the disc, which is just the music and the couple of images. Play all. Oddly enough, on this one, I don't know what exactly happened, but you have to use the left and the right buttons to do the navigation, and with the official ones you can just hit up and down. Anyway, here's what they look like. I'll just put on episode 5 randomly. I didn't include chapter stops on these, which I'm a bit of an idiot for not including chapter stops. Anyway, here's what they look like.
So easy. What? I don't understand them. What are you talking about? Destroying the wheel, Jamie. That's what I'm talking about. From the outside it's strong enough, but now the Cybermen are inside. Yes. See what you mean? Well, what do you think they're planning? Well, they obviously don't want to destroy the wheel. What do they want then? Wish I knew.
Anyway, that was it for the moment. Until next time, goodbye.